Number 5, use appropriate tools strategically. Use a graphing calculator to graph A of t and B of t on the same coordinate plane. Sketch the graph below and label several points on each graph. All right, so I have got my calculator here. And as you can see, my cursor is blinking in the corner. I'm going to press Y equals. If there's anything in here, all you need to do is press clear and keep going down the line and it'll clear everything out for you, okay? All right, so the first equation we're going to type in is 10 times 2 caret key, which is this key right above the division. And in that exponent position, we want to put the letter X. I don't put the letter T because the calculator does not recognize anything except for Y and X's. So we're going to use X and Y as my A of T and my T. Okay. Now we're going to go down to Y2. Y2 is going to be my second equation. Here we're going to type in the number 600. And instead of X, we're going to put in T. And we're going to add 10 to that. The next thing I'm going to do, it doesn't make sense to graph it if it doesn't match my grid. So I'm going to change my window before I even graph it. So go to Windows. I want to go from 0 to 10, and I'm going to count by ones. So my X min is 0, my X max is 10, and I'm going to count by ones. Okay. We're going to go from 0 to 10,000 on my Y. And here we're counting by 1,000 because each little subline is 1,000. Again, it doesn't make sense to graph it unless I'm going to match the grid that they give me. And then I'm going to press graph. Okay. All right, looks like we have some things going on here. All right, I want to graph a couple of points on my A of T, and then I'm going to graph a couple of points on my B of T. Okay. So I'm going to go to the key that says trace. And I want to make sure first it says Y1 up here. That's my A of T. So I'm going to type in the number 0. At 0, we had 10. Then I'm going to trace 1. At 1, we had 20. At 2, we had 40. At 3, it was at 80. At 4, we're at 160. At 5, we're at 320. At 6, we're at 640. At 7, ooh, we finally passed 1,000. At 8, we're at a little over 2,500. This is 2,000, so that's about 500 more. At 9, we're at a little over 5,000. And I think 10's going to be off my graph. Yeah, 10's a little bit off the graph up here. So it kind of looks flat at the beginning, but then notice what happens. It starts curving upward. Something like that, right? All right, now I want to press the down arrow and notice that up here at the top, it changed from being at Y1 to being at Y2. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 0, 1, all the way up to 10 and find the points so I can graph my picture. At 0, it's at 10. At 1, it's going to be at 610. At 2, it's at 1210. At 3, it's at 1810. At 4, we're at 2410. At 5, we're at 3010. At 6, we're at 3610. At 7, we're at 4210. At 8, we're at 4810. At 9, we're at 5410. And at 10, we're at 6010. This should be a straight line because it was linear. So I'm going to go ahead and plot these with a straight line to the best of my ability here. Something similar to this. Determine the points of intersection of the two graphs. Round non-integer values to the nearest tenth. Well, we know that one intersection point was at 0, 10. This was A of t, and this graph going this way was B of t, just to kind of keep us informed. Okay, now I can tell approximately where this answer is going to be. I don't know exact, so we're going to have to set those two numbers equal to each other. So I'm going to actually go to my calculator, and I'm going to go to second calculate. There's an option for intersection. So I'm going to go down to option 5, and it's going to ask me to identify my two curves. My first curve is y1, so I'm going to press enter. My second curve is y2, so I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to get kind of close to where that intersection looks like it is, and I'm going to press enter. And it gives me the point. It says round to the nearest tenth. So this point is 9.1, comma, 5,466.7. What do the points of intersections indicate about the two graphs, and explain? Well, I know that at least one graph is not a line. Two distinct lines can intersect in at most one point. And this graph has two intersection points. All right. Interpret the meaning of the points of intersection within the context of the bacteria of the samples. So what this is saying is that at 0 minutes, both samples have 10 bacteria. At 0 minutes, both bacteria or both samples have 10 bacteria. Okay. At 9.1 minutes, both bacteria, both samples, have 5,466.7 bacteria. Which bacteria population contains more bacteria, and explain? Sample A has more bacteria between 0 minutes to 9.1 minutes. Sample B has more bacteria after 9.1 minutes. Nope, I switched that up. Sorry, this should be reversed. I forgot the first graph that I graphed was the curve. So this should have said sample B has more between 0 and 9, and sample A then overtakes it with its exponential function. On the next slide, we will move straight into question 7. There will be no debriefing to follow this slide.